Welcome to Dark Box Archive. I'm Andrew,
And I'm Josh.
and we're your hosts. Today, we're discussing a significant development in the cybersecurity world, where the U.S. government's recent ban on Kaspersky cybersecurity products for U.S. businesses and individuals.
Start a big conversation. Kaspersky is not a little name out there. A lot of people talking about this ban in the cybersecurity community.
Exactly, and so what we're going to do today is kind of explore the reasons behind the ban, the implications for um, its current users and businesses, and what this really means for the future of cybersecurity.
The thing is
So,
go ahead.
yeah, so let's get a little background on Kaspersky, Josh.
Well, Kaspersky's been around since the late '90s. They're a Russian-based cybersecurity firm, antivirus. They've always been controversial since
Okay.
forever. They've been controversial. Antiviruses are controversial to begin with. You get into a room or you talk to cybersecurity people and IT people, antivirus is a very big topic. One of the reasons antiviruses are controversial is there's a lot of people that think that, oh, they're writing the viruses and putting them out there, so then you need to buy their antivirus. It's
Okay.
That's a conspiracy in my opinion. I don't think that's actually happening. I don't think it's ever happened. I think people want to exploit systems, and companies like Kaspersky, McPhee, they're out there trying to stop and protect people's computers. Um, it Kaspersky being in Russia makes them a very controversial company in that space.
Yeah, so I mean, I can definitely see where you've got the controversial aspect of the origins of antivirus providers, and then the fact that they're Moscow based, and just the geopolitical aspects of you know the United States relationship with Russia definitely does really undercut uh, Kaspersky.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, this ban has been talked about for years. This is the fact they finally actually went through on it is very interesting because I find people talking about this type of ban on Kaspersky since 2022, I believe, and as of
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, and also a reminder for people: the Department of Homeland Security actually banned Kaspersky from all federal agencies back in 2017. So,
oh, that's been a
so
while.
since then, yeah, so since then, there definitely has been a lot of talk about banning this for um, on the commercial side as well for the rest of the United States.
Well, the worst thing I think about it is uh, Kaspersky has done a lot for the cybersecurity community. They
They
are
have,
a
yep.
avid researcher. They have put out so much free information out there for like, hey, let's make the cybersecurity community better. Let's strengthen everything. Uh, they are a great resource of information. I don't
Yeah.
use antiviruses myself. I don't recommend antiviruses because I still remember when I was a kid getting started in computers. I put an antivirus on a computer and it bogs it down to like a snail's pace. So I've just never been an antivirus person. It's not something I advocate in order or use.
But I mean, but we both know that it's a big business out there in the cybersecurity industry because people like the little messages and alerts that pop up showing, hey, we defended you against this or this or this.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's a huge industry, and just talking about kind of going back about you know people in the cybersecurity industry. I mean, we know that Kaspersky has done a lot of great research for um, the cybersecurity world, and but part of me also feels a little bad for them because we know that with them being Moscow based, they really don't have the type of legal protections as a company from their government that we here in the US often enjoy. We have rights and stuff, and if there's issues, we can always litigate it. Unfortunately, for Kaspersky being in Moscow, we know that if the Russian government demanded them certain things or data or whatnot, they would have to hand it over, or people would start disappearing. What are your thoughts on that?
It's not handing over data, handing over access to computers. 'Cause when you install an anti, here's the thing: if when you install an antivirus on your computer, you are given an incredible amount of access to your computer,
That's a good
and
point.
that can be easily exploited by a nation state actor. That there's a reason we don't really use Chinese software products because um, they do openly control those companies. So
Right.
China would definitely go in there and backdoor through the software. So all it takes is a update that includes a backdoor into whatever computer they want that's running Kaspersky, and read all the files on that computer, determine who that user of that computer is. Is that
Hmm.
a a prime target for espionage or hack for just you know cyber attack? Russia is known for
Right.
their cyber attacks. They are oh they're number one or number two in the cyber attack range. Um, I
Oh,
mean,
I mean, right, absolutely, and we see basically the cybersecurity lab, I would say, for new developments within cybersecurity in their war with Ukraine. What kind
mm,
of blows my mind, and we've discussed this before, however, it really didn't hit, the major news network, was that this past December in Ukraine, their cell phone service was all shut down for I believe it was like several days. Like that has never happened before. And that was due to a cyber attack. And so the implications of that is huge,
oh yeah.
just across the world. So, just the fact that they have that much capability with these antivirus programs to really delve into businesses' operations and individuals' lives. That is a very worrisome thing.
Russia has. I would say they are probably the country that has demonstrated how you can utilize cyber attacks in a part of regular warfare. Like they have
Yeah.
done DDoS attacks that have shut down uh, countries' infrastructure. They have shut down electrical grids. They are they have taken cyber attacks from uh, you know a mild annoyance to life threatening attack, and
Right.
it has brought it like massively out there.
Yeah, and what I kind of find interesting is that this mandate has actually come from the U.S. Department of Commerce, basically shutting down the sales of Kaspersky, Kaspersky's antivirus software and whatnot. versus this really being an announcement from um, Homeland Security Department. And so I just thought that that was kind of interesting, because it's a major national security threat. Um, and then, when I read the news on this, I also thought about, like, the timing of this was interesting, especially with the presidential elections coming up this November. And, there was all sorts of intelligence from the last several elections where, Russia was involved with um, various things, from, you know, fake social media accounts and whatnot. So, part of me kind of says that the US government must have been given some more indication that, potentially um, attacks are going to be ratcheted up or something.
Oh yeah, people, anybody listen to this, it is not a conspiracy theory that Russia interfered with our elections. To what degree and impact that actually had, that's a subjective question. But the fact that they were actually
Right.
involved is a proven fact out there. They
Yep.
were actively trying to interfere, regardless. So it's not a question of that. Whether, and that's one tactic where if I was Russia, I was Putin, and I said, "Hey, we have Kaspersky in our country. You know what? I want I want control of their company. I want control of the computers that they have control over, and we're gonna do something with it. I don't know what,
Yeah. Which,
but we're gonna do something."
yeah, which again is just, I feel bad for, a lot of the Kaspersky employees that are doing a great job, have done great things for research and whatnot to help out the cybersecurity industry. So, yeah, so I mean that's pretty tragic
Yeah, I
on
mean,
its
I love
own.
their research. I've done a lot of stuff with their free code they've put out.
So when we talk about really the direct implications for businesses and individuals that use your product, what is some advice that you would have for them, knowing that this has now happened, and what are some steps that they can take to protect themselves?
I'm Make sure your subscription gets canceled.
Okay.
Let's start with that. Make sure this before everything else, because when do they have to like people have to stop using it where they're not going to provide updates anymore? It's September this year, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to get, and I feel so bad for the company, like you said, but you should just get on the contract with them as soon as possible. Remove the software off your computer, and if you are, and this is for individuals, just get on the contract, remove the software, make sure there's no software left over from Kaspersky, uh, you know, and then if you're using, it depends on what device you're using it for, but most likely you're using it on Windows. So turn on your Windows Defender again and start using it. Unless you want to find a new antivirus, like I said, I don't recommend using antiviruses that much. Uh, just good old Windows Defender does a really good job. They put a lot of work into that product. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so that's the best you can do as an individual. As a company, as like an MSP or a company that's using Kaspersky, you are gonna need to start changing. You need to start right now. Like you should have started yesterday. Um,
Right.
as soon as this was announced of doing this, because you're gonna have to change all your computers, like start sending out to remove that. It could take you weeks, depending on how ingrained it is on your system. Um,
Okay.
I like I like I said, I don't recommend using antiviruses. So uh, you could switch to something like Komodo or uh,
I mean, and I guess at the same time too is that, I guess maybe even changing out your credit card information that was saved with Kaspersky, or various passwords, things like that. Although
yeah.
we advise people to always change their password every month, those basic things also need to be done because obviously they have access to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You want to if if it is the worst case scenario where Russia has control. Let's go a little out there, I guess. If Russia has already taken control of Kaspersky, they have started taking data. You want to go
Mhm.
in and change your data with them to random junk data so that it can't be used against you. So if you use a specific password with Kaspersky or something, change that to something random. Give them junk information. Uh, give them as little as possible, and remove them from your computer as soon as possible. Even
Right.
if like Kaspersky's, and I don't blame them for this, but they're gonna be a little sour about this, so it might incentivize them to do something malicious. And I don't think it would look good on them because I'm sure they're gonna hope that this ban gets lifted at some point, but they could go the sour route and do something really malicious. So sooner we get them off the computers with this ban, probably the better.
With this ban, and I mean, internally as a company, for example, we we never used Russia-based products internally, or Chinese products internally. But just talking about this from a geopolitical aspect, um, and the increasing intersection of cybersecurity with geopolitics, um, it really reminds us that trust and transparency within the cybersecurity industry is huge. And so what are your thoughts on that, Josh?
This is why,
Of just making sure, where are individuals and businesses getting their services or products from?
okay, so I'm a big advocate of open source technology.
Yep.
Most of the tools we use for incident response, for client services, and anything like that, a lot of them are open source. The reason is because I can go in, look at the back end, see what code is being ran, and I don't have to worry about um, whether or not my data is getting sent to Russia or somebody
That's
else
a good
has a
point.
backdoor.
Yep.
Open
Yeah.
source technology gives a lot of extra eyes on it. Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they all use open source technology.
Hmm.
They support open source technology. They fund it. Um,
Yep. So it's
so
really professional accountability,
yeah,
yep. Okay.
it looks bad with if a project gets you know um, infiltrated in any shape or form, and it's caught really fast. Uh, I've heard of products that are closed source being infected for months before it's caught, before the issue is caught.
Hmm.
On an open source, you're looking maybe a month, a week, a couple days it's really fast. So I am very advocate for open source technology. If you're not, you need to look at U.S. based companies, um, and Israeli based companies, where
Well, right, and and from really the potential liability perspective also is that businesses really need to be aware of where they're getting their services, because if you're not doing your due diligence with the data that you have, and you know you get infiltrated and your clients personal identifiable information gets out there and stuff, and you get sued and it's shown that um, you didn't really do your due diligence with your cybersecurity services, that could really come back to hurt businesses. And so, and
mm,
then also from the regulation aspect too, we're seeing more states cracking down on um, protecting clients' data that a lot of businesses have. And then we're also seeing on the federal side where contractors um, are required to have a certain level of cybersecurity to even do business with the federal government. So we're definitely seeing a lot of change.
yeah,
Um,
we we have a few of our own products. One of our biggest products we just came out with is called the CMMC Documenter. When developing that, my first thought is, where's the data for this thing going to be stored? We actually had a conversation about this. Like, we don't want to be, we'd be good stewards of your data. As a
right.
company, it's one of those, I'm fanatical about it, but I really like, where's your data going to be stored? So when we look at software solutions for things, CMC Documenter is completely on your computer. It doesn't reach out and call back to some remote server. Most
Right.
software products nowadays, I would say 99% reach out and call to somebody. You need to ask yourself, what are they calling out to this company for? Where are they calling out to? Because maybe that company is hosting a server where it really shouldn't have that server located. Um, you know, uh, why is it doing it? We did a review of some software for a company, and we it's up on our blog actually, but we basically found that they're doing calls towards Microsoft, Google, and one of their own servers, which
Right.
not a big deal. Luckily, that software would run without the internet access if you needed it. Uh, but it's a concern that you really need to look at. Like, okay, who's developing it? The product in question was out of Taiwan, I believe, off the top of my head. Uh,
Hmm.
you got to analyze that stuff. You don't want to just say, okay, I'm gonna pick this product based on their sales, their sales copy. You want to actually look and
Yep.
say, who is this? Who's giving me this software? That's a very very important thing.
Th- Right, Josh. Those are great points. Yeah. So, I think this is going to be an interesting case as we follow along with what happens with the ban and the ramifications of all this. So I think that wraps up our conversation for today. So everyone, thanks for listening. We hope you found this discussion on the U.S. ban of Kaspersky products informative.
Please like, subscribe, whatever you got to do on whatever platform you're on.
And then check us out at darkboxsecurity.com for more information and resources on how we can assist you with your cybersecurity needs.
And if you want to talk with us and ask us questions, jump on our Discord, darkboxsecurity.com/Discord. We'll be happy to answer questions, keep you up to date with stuff, and just have a good conversation.
Exactly, Josh. Until next time, stay safe and stay secure.